Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Scramble Jake's Breakfast Company. You can still enjoy great food from these folks via curbside takeout. You call them at 865-540-6199, then you drive over to Rocky Hill and pick it up. Curbside service available Friday through Sunday from 8:30 to 1 p.m. That's Friday through Sunday. Great way to support their employees. And folks, as with all these restaurants, Calhoun's, Scramble Jake, will tell you about El Chico a little later. Do me a favor, tip big if you can, because these folks are needing it. All right. Back with Mr. Cavaleris and Mr. Callahan down here, CNC. Last week, I told you that I thought Greg Sankey should be making his own plans to have contingencies ready. If it's a shortened season, to heck with the non-conference games, just play SEC games. And even if you can't if you don't want to play by divisions because that'll mess up throw the divisions out and just willy-nilly put one season together. Basically kind of World War II this thing. When some schools played, some schools didn't. Have something ready SEC only. That was my view. Well, this week, Brett McMurphy with thestadium.com polled 112, he polled 130, but 112 of the FBS athletic directors all responded to him. And they talked to him about what they're thinking, contingency plans for football season. Let's go ahead and show you what some of these are. A, start the season in October or November and let it stretch into the spring semester. So go past January if you have to. Start it late and go past January if necessary. Start the season in January or February, which Josh was talking about in that last segment. Start it late and just play spring football, and that gets into all kinds of other issues, but that's there. And David Ubben from The Athletic mentioned that on our show last week. Schools allow only athletes back on campus. They're talking about it apparently. I don't see that one happening. That seems like the most far-fetched to me because you'd have to have multiple schools agree to do that, and I just don't see that happening. D is what I was talking about. Play only conference opponents. Shorten your schedule. Buy out the non-conference games. Just play, and that way you keep all of the cash inside your own league. And that's the reason people are looking at playing spring football or anything else. They can't afford to lose that money. I mean, you talk about the NCAA basketball is the biggest breadwinner for most schools out there, especially those that don't play football. That's a big check they're not going to get. You take football off the table for these D1 schools? Yikes, that's brutal. Your thoughts on any of those options that look more realistic to you? Are there any that you prefer in there?
I would like the limited schedule, and I'd felt that way before, just SEC. I mean, one thing, look at the travel. I mean, is Tennessee going to Oklahoma is going to be a plane flight, and who knows how that's going to be.
Good point. Another layer.
That's another layer you got to peel back at this. And I just think the sooner you start saying, if this is our best hope to get this done and to give our fans football, that doesn't mean we're going to go to it, but I'm not going to have it on the back burner. It's going to be on the front burner.
Absolutely.
The one option I didn't see laid out there that I'm wondering if it's realistic or not, but some people have thrown out there in the past, do we start this thing in the summer? Does this thing end up dying off in the heat a little bit, giving us sort of a window at the end of the summer to maybe have an August to October season or something of that effect? I think it's probably far-fetched, but it's at least been thrown out there, so it's interesting to see that's not been tossed out among those possibilities.
That's what I threw out last week.
Yeah.
Our shortened schedule, I built it with the theory that you're able to start on time, but the doctors tell you a second wave is coming when it gets cold again. So can you start it in September and then be ready? Hey, if we got to cut it off at 7 games, we do. At 6 games, at 8 games, we'll play as many as we can, but start it early and be ready to finish early if we have to.
And I was having this conversation just the other day with this whole social distancing. I mean, just like we are here now today. How are you going to, if you're going to have fans, how are you going to have fans if you haven't gotten past the social distancing? And the sooner we get that done, the sooner we maybe can have fans.
Well, that's the funny thing. It does seem that most doctors and most of the numbers at this point, and the numbers change daily, but right now it does look like the sooner you get into the social distancing, the quicker your numbers start to curve. The states that are starting to curve are the ones that have done this the longest, which would make me think that more states should be doing it, but we live in a country with states' rights. We're going to come back and talk about recruiting. Tennessee had a good week on the recruit. Nobody can recruit, but they got 2 commitments this week. Pretty good for Jeremy Pruitt. We'll discuss that. But let me go ahead and tell you about a couple more of our clients. Wave Tech, right now, they are open. You can visit wavetechknoxville.com for more information about them. Blue Smoke Cigar, The store is open. The lounge is not. But here's the thing. Even with the store, they're only allowing one customer in at a time. Every business is doing things a little differently, trying to do the social distancing thing, trying to make sure that you, the customer, is safe. And that's how Blue Smoke Cigar is handling it. So if you're someone who enjoys a cigar and you need that to relax, do me a favor and run by and grab them from Mike Hicks and Company over at Blue Smoke Cigar. And as I said, when we come back, Ryan Callahan's going to break down recruiting, the 2 new commitments for Tennessee, and also we'll look at how the recruiting schedule is shaking out because there were some changes made to it this week. What's it mean going forward? Come on back on the Sports Source.